So 3 years in and our first silverware has been obtained. Naturally, of course, that means the board gave me then £8 million to improve on those achievements. Second in La Liga, Real Madrid, significant margin ahead of us. £8 million to bridge that gap. It's been a surprisingly busy window considering that. Before I bring you the comings and goings, I just want to show you the scale of the situation. There are two positions that didn't really need any attention. We have Gallardo and Gary at right wing, and we have Merritt and Christensen in goal. They're the only two that didn't really require a signing. I like to have 3 strikers, and I've only got Koita and Alves as a backup. Should just mention, none of last year's loanees have come back on loan. None of them. Sotalo is actually being given a chance at Atalanta now, which is a shame, especially as they've got Monchu as well now. I will be watching Atalanta with interest. I might have nicked one of their best prospects though, we'll see. But back to the situation. Zukic needs a backup because he's actually good now. Suarez is not a starting player. Antov and Herrera will be those starting volantes, but they need backups because I've sold Sassi already, and Konya is the only other one, and he's not really up to scratch either. So I need backups there. Obviously, there's no left backs because I've sold Ostrolek, as you might have imagined, and Vincula is in the process of being sold. No one's trying to buy him, but he will be sold, or he'll be unregistered. One of the two. And Zhikos is not the starting centre-back. Quiros is the only starter there. So realistically, I need at least 2 defenders, at least 1 volante, a centre-mid, a left-sided player, a left-back, a right-back, or 2, in fact, on both those sides, and a striker. That's how many players I needed to buy with £8 million. And like I said, there's only 2 positions where I don't need players, and that was in goal and on the right-hand side of the attack. So welcome Xherdan Shaqiri. Not really sure now, 6 months later after doing it in-game, why I signed him. I did this straight away in January, I remember that much. I think at the time, Zukic was woeful, and Gary wasn't really performing either, so I was of the impression that I was probably going to need a player to play in this area. He did agree to be a squad player on £35 a week, it's a lot for a squad player, but he's quite well rounded really, he's 31, we've got a couple of years worth of Shaqiri-ness. Curls ball, good free kick take I'm pretty certain. 13, right? Not that as good as I thought he'd be. But yeah, good squad player, can play across that front line and can even cover centre mid in absolute necessity. So worth it, I think. I'm going to start with all the recognisable names because actually I think they're the least exciting players. I say least exciting, some of them are still quite exciting, but I think they're probably the least exciting players of the bunch. The new gens, that's where it gets interesting. Sillerson was available, released by Valencia, 3rd choice goalkeeper. Why wouldn't you? Samuel Umtiti deals with the left side of the defence because he is left-footed and he can cover left-back, which as we saw is a problem. With Zhikos still being here and an actual left-back yet to be introduced in our side now, we do have 3 people who can play left-back, even if only one of them is a pure left-back. But yeah, Umtiti, great mentals, good technicals for defence, and slightly questionable physicals, but we'll move on. For a free agent, yes. So far, we've spent no pounds. Batancur, another free agent at the end of the year, 23 grand squad player, may have agreed to play him at right wing, which I'm absolutely not going to be doing because he is right-footed, so he'll be the inverted winger on the left. He's back up to Zukic, basically. He's agreed to be a squad player. Yeah, very good player. Fast, decent mentals, not very aggressive or brave, but that's not really necessary for the inverted winger, and technically quite good too. Bit of room to grow. He's 22, doesn't have a face, bit awkward. Going to be more awkward when he kicks off about not playing on the right-hand side. I also promised him I'd improve the midfielders. They were locked in. I couldn't get rid of them. I agreed to do that. Apparently, I've done that. So judge that one by yourselves in a moment when I get to the midfielders. In fact, we'll do that now. Nicola Rovella. He's the backup DM. His preferred role is Segundo Volante, so that works perfectly for us. Got a bit more potential. I used him at Napoli. He was the best performer of all my midfielders there, despite being the worst of them, technically, on paper. 30 grand a week is a lot, but as soon as I saw Juventus had gone, he's on the loan list, I went, I'll have him, please, because I know how good he can be. He was a very, very good performer. He averaged well over a 7 for me in the performances he had at Napoli. And he's just very well-rounded, really. Not a lot of standout, but very well-rounded. 12, 13s, 14s, and basically everything that you need to be a Segundo Volante in is quite nice. Like I say, agreed to be squad player. He will be a squad player. Left back is Renan Lodi. I haven't really mentioned prices. This is the first one we've bought. Renan Lodi has cost us £13.5 million up front, so less than what Madrid paid for him in the first place. We had him on loan at the end of last year. He was good for us there. We brought him in permanently. Not all of that 13 obviously is up front, because we didn't have £30 million at any point in this transfer window. Like I said, we've had sales. Sassy went for about 5 million. The rest, not really worth talking about. There's been a few youth sales that have gone for a few 100,000 to a couple of million in places, but that's about it. Not really much to talk about on the outbound front other than Sassy, but Lodi, crossing, dribbling, first touch, passing, technique, acceleration, all great. Realistically, he's a complete wing-back, which is my favourite, and I will be playing him as that once I go back into the tactics. He was here last year. We know how good he is. That was a big game. I love that. That's my favourite thing. Yes, you've noticed the wages. We'll move on. We'll move on to Odson Edouard. I don't know why I said that as if you didn't know who he was, because, yep, he's been around a lot lately in the last few years in the game. Wonder kid come actual sort of wonder, I guess. Liverpool deemed him not to be worth keeping around. They did transfer list him, but I picked him up on loan instead because for £850,000 for the year, we have a £58 million striker. The board don't think that's good business. The board need to learn maths. 850 grand for those attributes for a year. When you think about the striker we had on loan last year, no disrespect to Araujo, but caliber, oh, that's a different caliber. I'll just do this new gen first because he won't actually feature me, but I did technically mention him. This is the one we need from Atalanta. He is now regarded as our hot prospect. Bear in mind that Christian Christensen has been a hot prospect for basically the entire year since we signed him. He's going to be better than him, apparently, according to the game. We'll keep an eye on Jordan Potts. He's English, but he's fine because by the time he gets in the team, he'll be in here 3 years, hopefully, and be homegrown. Fingers crossed. But 10 tackling, I do want to trade him deeper because I reckon he can do the Volante role if we train him a bit more. But we'll move on to new gens who are actually going to play for us. Nedelaire will be a backup centre-back, 20 team work rate 17. Be the backup right-back as well because he can do both. He's got 11 crossing. The rest of his technicals going forward aren't that good, so he's not my starting right-back and he's not that physically good either. But I will train him to be natural out there as well a little bit, just to get that into his locker. But he will more likely play as centre-back for me this year. Although, like I say, he will be the backup right-back as well. So he'll be on the bench in pretty much every game. The starting right-back would be Cesar Obregon, who is also not a natural right-back according to the game, even though he very clearly is. Not super great on the actual defensive attributes, so he does complement Renan Lodi in that respect. He's better going forward than he is defensively. But 17 technique, 18 work rate as well. Not as good teamwork, obviously, but 14's quite good. Determination's quite good. Physicals, love them. Crossing, dribbling, first touch, also great. His most natural right-back position is also complete wing-back. We've got our complete wing-backs, folks. We've got both of them. He will be the starting right-back, I think. Unless I bring someone in on loan who's better than the pair of them. You know, another Pedro Porro who has gone to Bayern Munich. Unless I get someone of Pedro Porro's caliber, he's going to be the starter. We're getting to that point now where these youngsters are coming in and they're quite good and we need to nurture them now rather than keep loading in established players. We need to start blooding one or two of them. Because in the barest minimum, we need to start making profit on players. But realistically, of course, without a really high transfer budget either, we need to actually develop players too in that respect. Molina will actually probably be the backup CM attack. He can play on that right-hand side, but he is right-footed, so he's not really what I'm looking for out there. If I highlight CM attack, you can see the situation. Only off the ball and long shots are slightly lacking, and long shots I can forgive anyway. So it's only really off the ball that's properly lacking. Decision's not great, composure's not great, but the rest of them, pretty good. I didn't see the vision either, ironically. 10 vision as well, but the rest of those attributes, quite good. He's 18 as well. He's agreed to be a squad player. He's also Colombian. It's a friend for Obregon. But he's cost us 800 grand. I reckon he's going to be the backup CM attack. Suarez might need to be sold because he's another one like Sassy who thinks he's an important player when he's as good as this at best. No, Suarez, no. But the starter there, and I'm very excited by my starter here, he, in my opinion, is the most exciting new gen we've got. And you can see why he's going to be the starter in this position. Compare him briefly in your mind to the one you just saw. 17 first touch, 16 passing, 17 technique, 15 vision. The only reason I think he's 3-star is because he's Egyptian. And I think that's the only thing limiting his star rating right now is his reputation somehow. Because he is he's aggressive. I don't know where that's coming, but he is ridiculous. Good stamina as well. The physicals are lacking. That's probably part of the star rating problem because physicals are overly weighted in star ratings. Vision is good though. Leadership, flair, determination, all decent. Decisions very good. His media description is Wonder Kid. He cost us, he's worth £9 million as soon as he arrives here. He cost us 200 grand. 200 grand from Al Ali. He's not the only player that's come from Al Ali either. But rocking 7.6 on average in his career so far. He played at the age of 16, I think, basically, for them. His friend from Al Ali isn't a starter. He's gone into the under-19. So I won't show him right now. I'm not going to show you all the ones that might come through. I'll show you them when they do come through, not to waste your time now, because we've already done a lot of players. Here's the last of them to be in our first team. So they're the signings. We now play Manchester City in the Euro Super Cup because they beat Arsenal, naturally. And you get to see a few of them in action straight away. Ironically, Champions League's being sorted out at the same time. Of course, we'll be first seed for the Champions League this year. Now I can stop hiding the players. Best 11, please, thank you, except for Quiros, who is injured. I feel like I've probably forgotten someone. The only one to really mention and I have forgotten is Hannes, who's only in the first team because I've forgotten to put him down a level. Now Obregon arrived. Obregon arrived late because he turned 18 later in the window, so I kind of forgot about him. Hannes might be interesting as well. He's another right-back option, and he's an actual right-back option as well, rather than being centre-back who could be right-back. I'll keep him in the first team for now because it's nice to have that option. Because realistically, we've got 2 centre-back right-backs and 2 centre-back left-backs with 1 pure on each side at this time. So the lineup will be Merritt in goal, Lodi at left-back, Umtiti and Nedalea, Obregon at right-back. Need to change them to complete now. Almost forgot. Herrera and Antov in the Volantes, Faisal in the CM attack, Zukic and Kayado for the time being. Kayado versus Gary is going to be interesting. Kayado versus Gary versus Shaqiri is going to be incredibly interesting. Eduard up front. Just going with Kayado just because he's been here a while. We gave him a new contract, by the way, which upped his release fee from 18 to 43 million. Antov's another one of those ones in a precarious position. His value is now 20-something million. His release fee is 18. But here we go. I'm not really certain if Eduard is naturally a pressing forward, but we'll go for it. He is 3.5 star in that role, so good enough for my liking. Other bits and pieces of news. There's not really much news to speak of. Training facilities were properly upgraded. I've put in more. We've improved our staff across the board pretty much as well. A bunch of their contracts ran out and I replaced them with much better staff members. May have replaced someone with his brother, which might make for an awkward Christmas. Anyway, here's the Manchester City side. Edison, Stengola, Laporte and Diaz in the middle. Stones is gone. We knew that. Guy at left back. Skriniar at right back. Skriniar at right back is a thing I've seen on other people's streams as well. It's really weird that he's decided to be a right back across saves. But anyway, here we go. Get a bunch of subs for this as well, which is quite nice. It's basically almost a friendly. Rather amusingly, I kind of forgot this was happening, and I organised a friendly with Manchester City as well already in this window. That didn't go well. They scored twice in the last 5 minutes, twice in injury time to win 3-1. And they're through now. Merritt saves. Like, saves and holds. That's what caught me off guard. It wasn't the fact he saved it that surprised me. It was the fact he held it. Obviously, Manchester City are a calibre above us. Still, they're in that Real Madrid calibre. Let's be real. So this is the kind of side that we need to be matching in quality, and we are nowhere near. Vinicius Jr. I mean, in this window, we've signed a Liverpool releasee and a Liverpool unwanted player. Kind of tells you exactly what our level is already in that regard. I was really worried about a mishap there, but Merritt lumps it. Oh, God's sake, that wasn't good for Merritt there. Come on. Find a player in. I mean, they are playing in their light blue. Okay, João Felix. This has been played at Villa Park, by the way, which I feel like is slightly home advantage for Manchester City, in the sense that they only had to get a coach. But Foden through to Felix, and a questionable slide tackle attempt to try and get off him there, which would have been definitely a penalty if he connected with him. But Sterling and Foden still there. Edison's still there. Laporte and Diaz still there. De Bruyne as well. Bernardo Silva on the right side. Manchester City are largely unchanged. They've actually basically just fixed the problem positions, which is left back. And at some point they required Felix, because why wouldn't you? Skriniar right back's interesting because obviously they start with Kyle Walker, who at this point is probably moved on. Oh, Lodi's intercepted that, and Lodi's going through here. Kayado. Oh, former Atletico to former Barcelona. You do love to see it. And that's why you start Kayado, because Kayado, I think, is the best player on that side. And we just give him a new contract, so he's going to be happy. Although sometimes when you give players new contracts, they start to not really perform because they're like, oh, I've got 5 years. But Kayado, pay me back immediately. I thought he was going to be really unreasonable, but he ended up agreeing to something well within the limits. Can't remember the precise number now. 28k. Yeah. We're in this. It's 1-1. My only concern with Kayado is I didn't have to agree for him to be an important player, and realistically, he was an important player last year, but that could change dramatically if any player develops on that right-hand side, although it's only really Gary. Gaia, though, oh God. Gaia, who is arguably the best left-back in the game, scoring there. He's not my favourite left-back, but I think he is attribute-wise, or at least turns into the best left-back in the game. Him and the Portuguese one, of course. Is it Nuno Mendes? They end up being the best attribute-wise. For me, though, for my money, Gosens is the best reliable left-back. Zukic is having a Zukic moment. He's booked as well. I'm going to presume I get a fair few substitutions here, but I'm bringing on Zikos and Kor for Obregon and Zukic because they've both been subpar. A little bit of jiggery-pokery in the back line just to make that work. Delay is better than Hanus, so that's why I'm not bringing on the actual right back. The ball in their possession again. I'm not expecting to win this, by the way. It's more of just a showcase of the players. Guy is in again, I think. Yeah, he's just wandered through. Why not? I'm actually going to bring on the 16-year-old rather than Koita because it's a match that doesn't matter that much. I actually don't have any more subs. It must have been 3 windows. It was either just 3 subs or it was 5 subs and 3 windows. I don't really know what happened there. I think it might just be 3 subs. They've not made that many either. Not really a lot happening now, sadly. For a showcase, not really a lot happened there. We basically had 3 goals and then 2 other highlights, and that was about it, I think. I will bring you back for the game that will be adjacent to the Champions League draw again. That'll be the idea, and obviously any remaining dealings going on. Although I'm not expecting any transfer now. I'm not really expecting any transfers. They're basically just outbounds. Icefeld's going, like I said. Advincula, I'm trying to shift as well. Those two, they're not up to scratch. They're completely superfluous at this point, sadly. Much as I like Icefeld, he's not good enough. It's not the greatest of performance from our lads, though. Gallardo, despite scoring, ended up on a 6.8, which is concerning. Lodi, the only decent player, I think he did the assist for Gallardo, so that's why he's got that. But realistically, the result matches the XG almost correct. Almost bang on there. We had 18 fouls, they did 2. Wow. 44% possession is actually kind of impressive, considering. I'll take a 1-goal margin, quite frankly. Bertibek Vasilev said, when was the last time Nedalea played well? It's his first match. So last year's Champions League semi-finalist Rangers progressed the hard way on penalties. Imagine if they didn't even qualify for the next one. Get 3 million for that. Not that the board will give me any of that money. Yeah, not that they'll give me any of that money because financially they can only increase next season's transfer budget. Not this season's, just next year's. Yeah, so we're just getting bit pot money from youth players at this point in time. So this looks like a likely window to bring you back in the group draw and Getafe, along with any remaining transfers. I'll probably bring you back for that set of events. Let me know what you think about the transfers. Do you think about our chances? I haven't actually shown you the preview, by the way. Like, we've not moved. We were predicted 11th last year. We're predicted 10th now. But Merit is literally one of the highest ranked players in the division now. He's ahead of players like Fakir and Guedes and Gomez. Eduard has joined him. So that's a heck of a loan, really, when you consider things. So yeah, I'll bring you back for the draw and the Getafe match, most likely. Until then, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about those transfers in the comments down below. Like and subscribe and all that jazz as well. Help the algorithms. Until next time, ta-ra.